So you're driving to California, thinking about when you're gonna get your cola. What do you see out your window? Hopefully, it's the beautiful rolling hills of golden grasslands we have all over California. What? Grasses? You're probably wondering, why would I care about grasses? Well, I know I love grasses because one, plants are awesome, and two, as much as we try to judge and classify them, they never do so to us. Okay, great. So now you know why I love grasses, but why should you? Well, native grasslands can support all kinds of pollinators, colorful wildflowers, super blooms, make great food for cows, and capture rapidly increasing atmospheric carbon dioxide that's changing our climate. Because of all of these benefits and more, I want to make sure we can restore as many grasslands as possible. But what is restoration? Ecological restoration is the act of helping to recover a lost or damaged ecosystem. One way we undertake restoration is by planting native species. You're probably thinking, why don't we just plant more trees then? Most people usually think of trees because they're big, beautiful, majestic, can live hundreds of years while capturing carbon. But what if I told you grasses could do all of this too? The big difference is you easily see the carbon captured by trees when you look out the window because they're so big, it's a little dark. But with grasses, it's a little more subtle. If you were out in a grassland and you were to dig a little bit at your feet, you'd probably find this rich, dark soil and a vast underground network of roots where all the carbon is actually stored. People often think of grasses as merely a collection of leaves, but they actually have flowers too. And some are so beautiful, like our purple needle grass, that they've actually been deemed our official state grass. In fact, California used to have 100 million acres of native grasslands, but due to dramatic changes in land use patterns, we've lost nearly 90%. That's an area roughly the size of Montana, making California grasslands one of the most impacted ecosystems in the world and an ideal candidate for restoration. Given the growing economic investment and need for restoration, it's important to see, is restoration actually working in the long term? And that's where I come in. To figure this out, I surveyed restoration sites along a 1,000 kilometer span from Santa Barbara to Humboldt to see how well is restoration working years after it's been implemented. Turns out we're actually doing a pretty good job at restoring our grasslands when we try. But there's a bigger looming question in restoration, and that's how are we going to adapt practices for climate change? To figure this out, I planted native plants under these large structures to simulate a 1 in 100 year drought. I then measured their leaves and tracked their survival to see if there was any relationship. Turns out plants that can grow really well with less water or have greater water use efficiency tend to do better. And this is some information that restoration practitioners can use to help plan future planting practices. So overall, we know that grassland restoration is much needed, can be successful, and we can further improve practices in the future by carefully selecting plants based on traits, like water use efficiency. Thank you.